Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next hour. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will inaugurate post-earthquake reconstruction projects built with India's assistance in Nepal's Kathmandu. Bangladesh's main opposition party BNP plans to hold nationwide processions and mass campaigns ahead of 7 January election. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken on West Asia visit to seek immediate increase in Gaza aid, also to discuss on efforts to release remaining hostages. In cricket, India women team to face Australia women team in the first T20 of the 3-match T20 series at Mumbai today. And India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will inaugurate 59 post-earthquake reconstruction projects in the education, health and culture sectors, including the new building of the Tribhuvan University Central Library, which have been built with Government of India's grant assistance. On the first day of his 2-day visit to the Himalayan nation, Dr. Jaishankar on Thursday announced that the Indian government will provide a financial assistance package of approximately $7.5 million to Nepal to provide further support following the recent earthquake in Jajarkot. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar called on President Ramchandra Paudel and Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachand of Nepal in Kathmandu. He also co-chaired the 7th meeting of the Nepal-India Joint Commission.
India's External Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar co-chaired the 7th India-Nepal Joint Commission in Kathmandu along with his Nepalese counterpart NP Saud during his 2-day visit to Nepal. 2 agreements were signed on the occasion. One was on India committing to export 10,000 megawatts of electricity to Nepal over the next 10 years. The other agreement was related to promoting Indian investments in high-impact community development projects in Nepal. The agreements were signed by officials from both sides in the presence of Nepal's Minister for Energy, Water Resources and Irrigation, Shakti Bahadur Basnet. Minister Jaishankar called on President and Prime Minister of Nepal before the Joint Commission met. He also met with the Nepali Congress Party leader Sher Bahadur Doeba and CPN-UML chief KP Sharma Oli. India's ties with Nepal straddles diverse areas from economy to education and defense to development. India supplies equipment to and trains the Nepali army. India is a first responder during natural disasters in Nepal. India rushed personnel and relief material to Nepal after the 2015 earthquake. India has upgraded roads and other infrastructure such as checkpoints on Nepal border. India is Nepal's largest trading partner. India provides 3,000 scholarships annually to Nepalese nationals. The Joint Commission was established in 1987. It is a platform for the foreign ministers to review the bilateral relationship. Nepal is a priority partner of India under its Neighbourhood First policy. With inputs from Shweta Singh in Kathmandu, Bureau Report, DD India.
India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar interacted with Nepal cricket team in Kathmandu during his 2-day visit to the Himalayan Republic. As part of cricket diplomacy, New Delhi has supported development of cricket in Afghanistan, Maldives by training of their cricketers. On to Bangladesh now. The Bangladesh Nationalist Party will take out processions and conduct nationwide mass contact on Friday to protest against the holding of the 12th parliamentary election on 7th of January. The BNP has also called a countrywide strike from Saturday to Monday as part of its movement to boycott the election. BNP's Joint Secretary Ruhul Kabir Rizvi says that fresh programs are designed to galvanize public support in favor of the party's call to boycott the parliamentary election. The BNP is the major opposition party in Bangladesh. The BNP and its allies are boycotting the election, alleging that a free and fair election is not possible under the current government. 1,970 candidates are vying for 300 seats, including 90 women and 79 candidates from religious and ethnic minorities. All right, and election campaigning for the 12th general election in Bangladesh ends on Friday. Polling in 299 constituencies will take place from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on January 7. The government has imposed a 24-hour ban on the plying of taxi cabs, pickup vans, microbuses and trucks starting from midnight on Saturday in preparation for the parliamentary elections on Sunday. A Pakistan High Court on Thursday restored 10-year disqualification for a convict under the anti-corruption laws by rescinding its earlier ruling to reduce it to 5 years. The court order, which cleared the confusion regarding the tenure of disqualification, is likely to have an impact on various cases filed by politicians, including two former Prime Ministers, Imran Khan and Nawaz Sharif, ahead of the February 8 general elections. The National Accountability Ordinance, or NAO, of 1999 provided 10-year disqualification for a person convicted of corruption. But a single bench of the Islamabad High Court reduced it to 5 years by previous government headed by Shehbaz Sharif, the younger brother of Nawaz Sharif, mandated a maximum 5-year period of disqualification, apparently providing relief to every convict. To Japan now. Japan will work with the US military to intensify the earthquake relief operations. The deadly earthquake that took place on Monday have already claimed the lives of 84 people so far. Rescuers have pressed in on a search for survivors as a 3-day survival window ended on Thursday afternoon. According to emergency responders, survival rates drop off 72 hours after a quake. And as per the authorities, 156 people have been rescued so far, but at least 179 others remain unaccounted for. Also, staff at Tokyo's Haneda Airport have started to remove the charred wreckage of Japan Airlines plane from a runway after the deadly collision that took place earlier this week. Investigations to determine the cause of incident are underway as the United States will provide its assistance to Japan in reading of airplane recorders. According to National Transportation Safety Board Chair Jennifer Homendy, Japan had sought assistance with the Honeywell manufactured recorders. But it is unclear if the recorders will be brought to Washington for analysis or if NTSB personnel will travel to Japan to offer support. All right, for more on what is happening in Bangladesh right now, DD India correspondent Naval Singh Parmar joins us from Dhaka. Naval Singh, now can you outline the specific reasons the Bangladesh Nationalist Party is protesting against the 12th parliamentary election on January 7th? Naval Singh, am I audible?
Yes, now you are audible, yes.
Okay, I was just asking that can you outline the specific reasons the BNP is protesting against the 12th parliamentary elections on January 7th?
Yes, since the starting of the or announcement of the election by the Election Commission of Bangladesh, BNP is protesting against the announcement of election and they called for the boycott of election, alleging that the free and fair election under the current Awami League government is not possible, and for that they are asking for the stepping down of Sheikh Hasina government and they hold the next election. I mean the election of January 7 under the caretaker government or national unitary government.
All right. And what is the scope and strategy of the nationwide mass contact program that BNP is organizing, Naval Singh?
Actually, this is the 13th this kind of program or 13th phase of the boycott or the hartal or blockade. Since October this year, BNP is announcing phase by phase blockade program across the Bangladesh, railroad and waterway blockade to harness the support from the people to restrain from the voting, which is scheduled on the January 7th. So in earlier phases, the BNP got some support from the people, but since the time passing, the BNP's appeal demeaning, and the people are not heading too much toward the call of the BNP. So now in the last phases of the blockade and the hartal, the BNP didn't get much support. So this time also it is expected that the people will go for voting. I don't know the number, but people will not much listen to the BNP's call.
Okay, very quickly, Naval Singh. BNP has also called a countrywide strike from Saturday to Monday, as part of its movement to boycott the election. What are they actually trying to achieve?
Yes, they just want to establish that the people are not in support of this government. Instead of running for the election, they try to convince people, you please abstain from the voting. So this is the hartal to create awareness or to create a atmosphere so people don't go for the voting.
Okay, and how much impact it is likely to have?
I don't think it will have much impact on the ground and on polling pattern.
All right. With this, thank you so much, Naval Singh, for joining in and giving us those details.
Thank you.
Well, let's see what's coming up now. All right, and still to come on DD India News Hour. Floods hit several parts of UK. Stay with us to know more. Former Guatemalan President Otto Perez now under house arrest after being imprisoned since 2015 on a corruption conviction. Britain's Royal Mail unveils commemorative stamp collection of 90s pop group, the Spice Girls, on the band's anniversary.
We bring to you the legendary city of Ayodhya and tell you what makes Ayodhya everything that has got to do with the land of Lord Ram.
यहाँ रग रग में हर जगह राम ही है। सनातन धर्म के लिए तो गौरव की बात है। कण कण में भी भगवान राम की सत्ता का एहसास हमें होता है यदि हम लोग ध्यान से उसका अवलोकन करें। आज भी होता है।
This is 10th century old Hanumangari temple.
यहाँ हनुमान जी महाराज राजा के रूप में बैठे हैं। भारत की संस्कार संस्कृति मठ से, मंदिर से, साधु से, संत से, ऋषि से, मुनि से, महात्मा से जुड़ा हुआ है।
ये विष्णु का मस्तक है, तो यहाँ पे हर कण पावन है। यहाँ
Why is China usurping Bhutanese land? I connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots every Friday at 8 p.m. IST on DD India.
Welcome to Kumarakom, Kerala, God's own country.
You're watching DD News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. And US Secretary of State Antony Blinken is visiting West Asia on a week-long tour, and this is his fourth visit since the Israel-Hamas conflict. During his visit, Blinken will visit Israel and the West Bank, as well as Turkey, Greece, Jordan, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt.
Over the course of the next week, the Secretary will visit Turkey, Greece, Jordan, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Israel, the West Bank, and Egypt for meetings with foreign counterparts and others. The Secretary will focus on a number of critical issues on this trip. First, he will discuss immediate measures to increase substantially humanitarian assistance to Gaza. The United States has played a critical role in unlocking humanitarian assistance for the Palestinian people, but conditions remain extremely difficult. The Secretary will stress the imperative of expanding and sustaining safe access for humanitarian organizations to deliver food, water, medicine, as well as for commercial goods to enter all areas of Gaza.
And Ukraine said on Thursday its Air Force conducted a strike on Russian command post near the Crimean port city of Sevastopol and hit a military unit in a separate strike on the Crimean Peninsula. Russia said its forces had destroyed 10 incoming missiles over the peninsula. Russia's defense ministry reported the downing of 36 Ukrainian drones over Crimea. Ukraine said Russian command post had been hit near Sevastopol. Ukraine has stepped up its attack on the Crimean Peninsula, which was annexed by Moscow in 2014, seeking to destroy Russian military capabilities and force its fleet to pull back from the Black Sea. Two people were injured in Russia's Belgorod region as Russian air defense systems downed 10 airborne targets late on Thursday, according to the local authorities. Belgorod region governor said the targets were downed as they approached the city. Two people were being treated in hospital for injuries. He said windows were blown out in a multi-story apartment building and at least 30 cars sustained damage. Ukraine launched missile and drone attacks on Wednesday on Belgorod region, local officials said. Russia said 25 civilians, including 5 children, were killed in attacks last weekend. North Korea recently provided Russia with ballistic missiles and launchers for use in Moscow's war against Ukraine. The White House confirmed on Thursday, calling North Korea's arms transfer to Russia a significant and concerning escalation. National Security spokesperson John Kirby, he said, and told reporters that the United States will raise the development with the United Nations Security Council.
Our information indicates that the Democratic People's Republic of Korea recently provided Russia with ballistic missile launchers and several ballistic missiles. This is a significant and concerning escalation in the DPRK's support for Russia. We will raise these arms deals at the UN Security Council alongside our allies and partners, and we will demand that Russia be held accountable for, yet again, violating its international obligations.
Britain condemned on Thursday Russia's decision to use ballistic missiles sourced from North Korea in recent attacks against Ukraine. A UK Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office spokesperson said in a statement that London urges Pyongyang to cease its arms supply to Russia. Moreover, the activity violates a number of UN Security Council resolutions, which Russia supported as a permanent member, according to the spokesperson. North Korea is subject to a robust sanctions regime, and Britain will continue to work with its partners to ensure that North Korea pays a high price for supporting Russia's illegal war in Ukraine, the spokesperson added. A US court released hundreds of pages of documents containing names of 200 people who had ties with the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The document has revealed many high-profile names. It has mentioned accusers as well as others he was associated with, from famous business persons to politicians. Former Guatemalan President Otto Perez entered house arrest after being imprisoned since 2015 on a corruption conviction. Perez governed the Central American nation from 2012 until 2015, when he was forced to resign with just 4 months left in his term amid protests over graft scandals. Perez was sentenced to 16 years in prison in 2022 on charges of illicit association and customs fraud. Perez was sentenced to another 8 years in prison last year on money laundering and fraud charges in a separate case. Enhancing religious and cultural ties with Nepal, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar visited Pashupatinath Temple in Kathmandu on Friday morning. Dr. Jaishankar offered prayers at the revered temple. He also planted Rudraksh saplings to support mission life and encourage putting India's efforts into preventing damage from climate change. Dr. Jaishankar is on a 2-day visit to the Himalayan Republic. And for more on this, and on your screens are the visuals wherein India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar is visiting the Pashupatinath temple. And let's go across to Kathmandu, where DD India's Shweta Singh is joining us live. Shweta, what latest are you getting for us?
Siddharth, actually, you see now our External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar is inside the Pashupati Garbhagriha.
Okay.
His visit to this temple strongly connects us the religious bond, the cultural bond what Nepal and India shares. It strengthens that. And you see here, he planted the Rudraksh sapling, and the same he's going to do in the Indian mission in Kathmandu too. This is strengthening the mission life for government of India has proposed to save environment, support environment. And today, after Pashupati visit, he will be visiting Tribhuvan University, where in India Corner he will be launching. Actually, there are assisted different programs there in Tribhuvan University. So for today, this is scheduled, and the visit is taken well here in Nepal. Actually, this strengthening of our cultural bonds.
All right, Shweta, definitely neighborhood first policy. And also, can you just tell us that what more is on the cards for today for India's External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar?
Yes, after as I have to inform the public, after Pashupatinath visit, we'll straight go to Tribhuvan University, which is in Kirtipur. Okay. And there we have India Corner in Tribhuvan University of Nepal. So we'll be meeting people there, and then there's a launch of a program in Tribhuvan University, Kirtipur. And after that, he'll be planting other saplings in mission in India, in Kathmandu. So after that, there is some additional program in the mission, and then he will be departing to Delhi at 12 noon.
All right, Shweta, thanks for all those updates. Well, some weather updates from around the world now. And a heavy rainstorm in central England caused a major river to burst its banks, turning fields into swamps on Thursday. Earlier, River Trent water levels split into homes and roads after Storm Henk struck the area. The Northamptonshire authorities declared it as a major incident. Parts of Derbyshire and neighbouring county were also flooded. Well, as parts of northwestern Europe that struggle to cope with the impact of Atlantic storms, the floodwaters submerged streets and houses in northern France on Thursday as floods has dumped rain on already saturated ground. Hundreds have been evacuated since the flooding in the northern French department of Pas-de-Calais early. Drone images showed houses and town halls surrounded by flooding in the town of Arques. A red alert indicated that the river Ar was close to breaking its banks and flooded fields in the town of Westerhem. Rivers in the north of France have been on alert since late December 2023. And Belgium train services from Brussels to Luxembourg were suspended on Thursday. This happened in Brussels and due to flooding threatening a rail bridge as the country experienced high water levels for a third day. Amid the bridge safety checking, the passengers were advised to use a replacement bus between Marbehen and Libramont until the weekend. Heavy rains caused flooding in Belgium. The southern provincial government of Wallonia maintained flood warnings for some rivers as well. Also, there was an alert for River Samoa, which burst its bank in the town of Bouillon near the French border, and some riverside buildings were flooded as well. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz visited flood-threatened town of Germany on Thursday, and he promised help to people in the flooded and potentially endangered areas in Germany. Rescue workers in Saxony-Anhalt have built temporary dams using sandbags due to forecasted increased rainfall in the coming days. The flooding also affected the western German states of Lower Saxony and North Rhine-Westphalia, as well as the eastern state of Thuringia.
It is very impressive to see how solidarity here is helping to ensure the safety of citizens and the entire landscape. The spirit of solidarity will also apply in the future, and we will not leave anyone alone. This goes for the federal government, for the federal states, and for many others together. This is what our country is.
Britain's Royal Mail unveiled a commemorative stamp collection featuring photos of 90s pop group The Spice Girls, marking a historic first ever issue of stamps about a female pop group. The collection celebrates the 30th anniversary of the group's formation in 1994 and contains images of each member alongside various photos from the band's performances around the world. Calling it a girl power, Spice Girls said that they were excited to be celebrated by the Royal Mail. And a fisherman, Will Franson, had an extraordinary escape after spending nearly 24 hours in the ocean. The man survived treading water for 23 hours off the coast of New Zealand after falling off his boat on Tuesday. A shark briefly circled him, but he was rescued by a passing boat. Will said he was lucky to be alive after being spotted due to the reflection from his wristwatch. The police said fisherman was reportedly pulled overboard without a life jacket while attempting to catch a marlin near the Andaman Islands off New Zealand's North Island. And let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. A 6th grade student was killed and 5 other people injured when a 17-year-old student opened fire at a school in U.S. state of Iowa on the first day of classes following the holiday break. The suspect was found dead with an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. Police also found an improvised explosive device when searching the high school. British actress Glynis Jones, best known for her role as suffragette mother Winifred Banks in the 1964 movie Mary Poppins, passed away at the age of 100. She appeared in dozens of films in a career that spanned more than 60 years. Paleontologists in Argentina discovered a new species of long-necked dinosaur that went extinct 90 million years ago. They have unearthed fossil remains of 4 dinosaurs so far. China's Harbin city has been attracting record numbers of visitors with its grand and intricate ice sculptures. Over the New Year holiday, the city's annual Ice and Snow Festival helped draw more than 3 million visitors, generating over $800 million in tourism revenue. And still to come on DD India News Hour. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit northwestern Indian city of Jaipur to chair a conference of the country's police chiefs. Temperature in India's capital drops by 7 to 8 degrees. No respite from cold wave over the next 3 days in several parts of the country. And toy exports from India increased 239% over last 8 years. Stay with us to know more.
to you the legendary city of Ayodhya and tell you what makes Ayodhya everything that has got to do with the land of Lord Ram.
यहाँ रग रग में हर जगह राम ही है। सनातन धर्म के लिए तो गौरव की बात है। कण कण में भी भगवान राम की सत्ता का एहसास हमें होता है यदि हम लोग ध्यान से उसका अवलोकन करें। आज भी होता है।
This is 10th century old Hanumangari temple.
यहाँ हनुमान जी महाराज राजा के रूप में बैठे हैं। भारत की संस्कार संस्कृति मठ से मंदिर से साधु से संत से ऋषि से मुनि से महात्मा से जुड़ा हुआ है।
ये विष्णु का मस्तक है, तो यहाँ पे हर कण पावन है। यहाँ
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj, and let's have a look at the headlines once again. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will inaugurate post-earthquake reconstruction projects built with India's assistance in Nepal's Kathmandu. Bangladesh's main opposition party BNP plans to hold nationwide processions and mass campaigns ahead of the 7th of January elections. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken on West Asia visit to seek immediate increase in Gaza aid, also to discuss on efforts to release remaining hostages. In cricket, Indian women team to face Australia in the first T20 of the three-match T20 series at Mumbai today. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be on a 3-day visit to Pink City, Jaipur in the northwestern state of Rajasthan from Friday for a conference of Directors General and Inspectors General of Police. The Prime Minister will also meet with lawmakers of the ruling BJP and other party members. DD India's Vishal Baristo reports from Jaipur.
The capital city of the Indian state of Rajasthan is all set for the big occasion. During his 3-day visit to Jaipur, Prime Minister Narendra Modi would first address the ruling party BJP's lawmakers and office bearers from Rajasthan. The meeting holds significance in view of the upcoming national parliamentary elections. The BJP wrested the reins of the state from its rival Congress in the recently held state polls.
मोदी जी राजस्थान आ रहे हैं और जयपुर आ रहे हैं। इसकी तैयारियां भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ता पूरे शहर को स्वच्छ बनाने के लिए, सुंदर बनाने के लिए, सजाने के लिए सभी अपनी अपनी जिम्मेदारियों के साथ काम में लगे हैं। और आप देख रहे हैं कि किस प्रकार का जोश और उत्साह पूरे राजस्थान के और जयपुर के कार्यकर्ताओं में।
On the second day of his visit, the PM will attend the All India Conference of Director Generals / Inspector Generals of Police at the Rajasthan International Centre. India's Home Minister and National Security Advisor will also be participating in the deliberations.
Rajasthan International Centre here in Jaipur is all prepared for the All India DGs and IGs conference. Prime Minister Narendra Modi would be attending this 3-day conference. Artificial intelligence, cyber security and counter-terrorism are some of the issues that would be discussed in this conference.
Security has been tightened throughout the city in view of the high-level meeting. The conference is the culmination of extensive deliberations involving police and intelligence officers from the district to the national levels on identified themes. Vishal Baristo's report, Jaipur, DD India.
And Global Times, a Chinese state-run daily, has praised India and asserted that the nation has become more strategically confident and proactive under the Narendra Modi-led government in creating a developing a Bharat narrative. In an opinion piece on Global Times, the article titled "What I Feel About the Bharat Narrative in India" chalked out India's stunning economic growth, its attitude towards international relations, urban governance and more under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The author noted that India's domestic and foreign situation have changed tremendously compared to 4 years ago. The article further noted that India is rapidly transforming itself toward a strategy of becoming a pole in the multipolar world. The article concluded that a transformed, stronger and more assertive India has become a new geopolitical factor that many countries need to consider. And amid news of a global economic slowdown, India continues to be the fastest growing economy. After setting many big records in 2023, international agencies have described India as the brightest spot for 2024. They are also praising India's financial discipline. After Corona, the whole world is facing many challenges on the economic front, but despite domestic and global challenges, India remains the fastest growing economy in the world. India's current account deficit, that is CAD, is expected to reduce to 1% of GDP in 2023-24. This will maintain a balance of payments surplus of $39 billion for the country. Goldman Sachs said India's global transaction balance sheet will remain favorable with a narrow current account deficit, strong capital inflows, adequate foreign exchange reserves, and low external debt. India will also benefit from softening of crude prices. Service exports will be better than expected. According to a report by financial services group Pantomath Financial Services Group, India will remain the fastest growing economy globally during 2023-24. The report said that the Indian equity market has emerged as one of the best performing markets in the last 2 years. Additionally, SIP investments have played a significant role in the retail investment in the domestic stock market, which is estimated to reach Rs 130 billion in FY 2023 and Rs 153 billion in FY 2024. India will add $900 billion in market capitalization by 2023, which is equal to the entire market capitalization of countries like Brazil, Sweden, and the Netherlands. India Ratings and Research has increased its estimate of India's GDP growth rate for fiscal year 2024 from 6.2% to 6.7%. The report said that retail inflation is expected to decline to 5.1% and 4.7% in the third and fourth quarters. Besides, gross fixed capital formation is also estimated to increase by 9.5% in the financial year 2024. According to the report of another agency, Knight Frank India, a total of 3.29 lakh houses were sold in 8 major cities of country last year. This figure is 5% more than the 3.12 lakh houses sold in 2022. Despite the surge in prices, home sales reached a 10-year high in 2023 on a strong demand for luxury housing. According to the report, the share of houses priced above Rs 1 crore in total sales will increase to 34% in 2023, whereas it was 27% in 2022. Despite several ups and downs, India remains fastest growing large economy. And praising India's significant strides in economic development, China's prominent media outlet Global Times has published an article. The article highlights India's remarkable achievements over the past 4 years. It acknowledges India's robust economic growth, improvements in urban governance. The article notably commends India's proactive approach in fostering a Bharat narrative, emphasizing the nation's strategic confidence. India has accessed the legal documents related to the sentencing of 8 of its nationals in Qatar. India's External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal said that its legal team has the order of the Qatar court, which is confidential. India has 60 days to appeal to Qatar's top court.
इस दिसंबर को वहाँ के जो कोर्ट ऑफ अपील है उन्होंने एक जजमेंट दिया। उसके तत्पश्चात हम लोगों ने एक प्रेस रिलीज़ निकाली जिसमें हम लोगों ने बताया था आपको कि उनका जो डेथ सेंटेंस है, मृत्युदंड है, उसको हटा के प्रेजेंट सेंटेंसेस कर दिया गया है। जो लीगल टीम है उनके पास वो कोर्ट का ऑर्डर है। वो जो कोर्ट ऑर्डर है वो एक कॉन्फिडेंशियल डॉक्यूमेंट है। 60 दिन का समय है जब इस मसले को अपील किया सकता है कोर्ट ऑफ कैसेशन में, जो कि कतर की सबसे ऊंचा वहाँ का कोर्ट है। इस मुद्दे पर हमारे जो लीगल टीम है वो काम कर रही है।
The spokesperson also said that the situation in the Red Sea is evolving and that the Indian Navy is patrolling the area.
We had made it very clear that we attach very high importance to freedom of navigation, free movement of commercial shipping. We are looking at the situation. It's an evolving situation and we are looking at all aspects of it. As you know, we have Indian Navy ships patrolling the area. They're also keeping a watch on Indian ships there. So far, we are not part of any multilateral initiative or project in the area, but we are looking at the unfolding situation very closely.
All right, weather updates from the country now. And the maximum temperature in India's capital, Delhi, dropped by 7 to 8 degrees Celsius. The temperature reaches below the season's normal as the cold weather conditions coupled with dense fog crippled the national capital. Besides, most parts of northern India, including Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Haryana, may see no respite from the cold wave over the next 3 days. According to the India Meteorological Department, dense fog and cold wave conditions to continue at some places in the plains of northwest India and eastern India for the next 2 days. Indeed, India correspondent Akshay Dongre joins us with more details. Akshay, can you elaborate on the impact of dense fog in Delhi and its effects on visibility?
Well, a very good morning to you, Siddharth.
Good morning.
And absolutely, like you mentioned, the visibility is hampered because of the fog. As you can see behind me as well, there is a thick layer of fog that has enveloped the national capital, and this has been the scene for the past several days. So clearly, it has an impact on transportation. It has an impact on flight operation. It has an impact on trains operation. So as far as the last 24-hour goes, about 26 trains have been delayed. In the past 1 week, we have seen that the flight operations have also gotten hampered as far as the road transportation is concerned because of dense fog on the highways. We have also unfortunately seen some accidents taking place in North India. However, the situation has slightly improved now. There is some visibility, but the only hope that people have, especially the people who are commuting to long distances, they are hoping that the situation remains under control so that there is no impact, no direct and significant impact on the transportation of as far as goods are concerned, or people who are commuting from one place to another via highways, or who have to board trains or take flights. So that is the impact on the visibility. And as you rightly mentioned, the cold wave continues to grip not just New Delhi or the National Capital Territory. It also impacts, or rather, it is right now going on in several states, including Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh, some parts of Rajasthan, some parts of Uttar Pradesh. So we can safely assume that there is an impact of cold wave almost an entire of North India, and it is going to continue till at least 6th of January, Siddharth.
Okay. Akshay, are there any advisories or precautions in place for residents and commuters during these foggy conditions?
Well, there are two kinds of advisories. One is coming from the government. The second is coming from the healthcare experts. Of course, because of the fog, there is also a significant impact of smog. That is fog that gets caught up with the smoke and comes down. So the pollutants are significantly higher than it would be on a breezy day. So the healthcare experts are warning that people should not exert unless necessary. They should not get out of their homes, and especially this advisory is important for the elderly as well as the children. And one advisory is for everyone that people should not exert when they come outside, because that can impact their pulmonary functions. So that is one advisory coming in from the healthcare experts. The second advisory coming in from the government, where the government has also asked people to be cautious once they commute from one place to another, especially if at any point of time the fog layer thickens, because as far as the volatility of the temperature and the weather is concerned, we have seen that at one moment there is fog, and at another moment the fog goes away if there is a wind movement, and at the next very hour the fog can come back again. So it has been very volatile. So people have to be cautious once they realize that the fog is thickening. They should be careful as far as driving is concerned, and if they have to commute via trains or airplanes, they should in fact cross-verify if there is any impact on the movement of these trains or flights.
All right, thank you for all those updates, Akshay. Let's go to Temple Town, Ayodhya now. With the construction of the Ram Temple at Ayodhya, the demand for items related to it has increased significantly. A 3D model of the temple has become a medium of employment for women and girls in Barabanki, a town in state of Uttar Pradesh. A grand 3-story 3D form of the temple is being prepared with the help of medium density fiberboard wood. The consecration of Lord Sri Ram on 22nd of January at Ayodhya in Uttar Pradesh will be conducted under the leadership of Kashi scholar Pandit Lakshmikant Mathuranath Dikshit. Scholars from other parts of the country will also participate in the program. Kashi scholar Ganeshwar Shastri Dravi, who determined the auspicious time for Bhumi Pujan and consecration of the Ram temple, will be present on the occasion. Lakshmikant Mathuranath Dikshit, who played the role of the chief priest, he said that the consecration ceremony will be held from 18 to 22nd of January. And the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra continues to connect with people. The public welfare schemes in the Sonbhadra district of the North Indian state of Uttar Pradesh. The beneficiaries of the schemes believe that the public welfare schemes have not only made their lives easier, but have also provided them the strength to join the mainstream of development. And Asia's largest brackish water lagoon, Chilika Lake in eastern Indian state Odisha, received more than 1 million winged guests. Large number of migratory birds seen in the Indian subcontinent. Birds, mostly from Russia and Central Asian countries like Chilika, visit Chilika Lake every winter to escape the biting cold in their homelands and in search of food. They start their homeward journey before the onset of summer. All right, and let's take a look at other stories making news. The pink city of India, Jaipur, in Indian state of Rajasthan, is all decked up ahead of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Union Home Minister Amit Shah's visit to the city to participate in the 58th DGP-IGP National Conference. The 3-day conference will be held at Rajasthan International Centre in city's Jhalana institutional area. A case study on success story of Made in India toys revealed that the Indian toy industry has registered a rise of 239% in exports in 2022-23 as compared to 2014-15. The report also mentioned that the imports of toys in India have also declined by 52% in the same period. The Government of India has undertaken a series of initiatives, including the formulation of a comprehensive plan like the National Action Plan for Toys, to promote the Indian toy industry. In the Indian state of Chhattisgarh, a tigress gave birth to 2 cubs at Maitri Bagh Zoo 4 months ago, but the information regarding the birth was not disclosed due to security reasons. With the 2 new members, the total number of white tiger in Maitri Bagh Zoo has reached 10. Earlier this year, a white tigress named Raksha also gave birth to 3 cubs at the same zoo. United States women's hockey team performed the traditional dance of the Indian state of Jharkhand as the team arrives in Ranchi city ahead of the International Hockey Federation Olympic qualifiers. Ahead of the tournament, Hockey India formally signed a memorandum of understanding for hosting the upcoming FIH Hockey Olympic qualifiers Ranchi 2024 in Jharkhand. This event is one of the 3 Olympic qualifiers happening globally with counterparts in Oman and Valencia. Still to come on DD India News Hour. Asian shares close slightly lower as they struggle to beat New Year blues. In cricket, India pulls off a sensational win in Cape Town, beats South Africa in 2 days to level the series 1-all. And Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi goes snorkeling in Lakshadweep, shares beautiful photos of corals, fish.
We bring to you the legendary city of Ayodhya and tell you what makes Ayodhya everything that has got to do with the land of Lord Ram.
यहाँ रग रग में हर जगह राम ही है। सनातन धर्म के लिए तो गौरव की बात है। कण कण में
भी भगवान राम की सत्ता का एहसास हमें होता है यदि हम लोग ध्यान से उसका अवलोकन करें। आज भी होता है।
This is 10th century old Hanumangadi temple.
यहाँ हनुमान जी महाराज राजा के रूप में बैठे हैं। भारत की संस्कार संस्कृति मठ से, मंदिर से, साधु से, संत से, ऋषि से, मुनि से, महात्मा से जुड़ा हुआ है।
ये विष्णु का मस्तक है, तो यहाँ पे हर कण पावन है। यहाँ
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. India's industrial production growth rose to a 16-month high of 11.7% in October 2023 against a contraction of 4.1% in the same period in 2022. Factory output is measured in terms of the index of industrial production. The data released by National Statistical Office showed that the manufacturing sector's output grew by 10.4% in October 2023, while mining production rose 13.1% in the same period. Goods and services procurement through the government e-market portal is poised to reach 3.5 trillion rupees by the end of this fiscal year. In FY23, the procurement value stood at 2 trillion rupees, surpassing the 1.06 trillion rupees in the previous financial year. In FY24, it is estimated to cross 3.5 trillion rupees. Launched in August 2016, the GEM portal facilitates online procurement of goods and services for all central government ministries and departments as well. At present, the portal comprises of 133,549 primary buyers, 205,737 secondary buyers, and 11,897 registered product categories. Asian equities were shaky under pressure on Friday, failing to beat the New Year blues after US unemployment data indicated a resilient labor market, tampering expectations of Federal Reserve interest rate cuts in 2024. While with Hong Kong's Hang Seng slipping 0.18%, Japan's Nikkei was in focus, bouncing 0.5% on Friday as exporters got a boost from yen's slide back to just about 145% per dollar. Amid a rise in US Treasury yields and overnight on the Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.03%, the S&P 500 lost 0.34%, and the Nasdaq Composite dropped 0.56%. You're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for sport. And India managed to pull off a sensational victory to beat South Africa and wrap up the second and final test match at Cape Town in 2 days. With this victory, India managed to break the jinx and registered its first win in Cape Town and also leveled the two-match series 1-1.
India overcame a first innings batting collapse to level the two-match test series by beating South Africa by 7 wickets at the Newlands Cricket Ground in Cape Town. The match ended in just 5 sessions of play with a total of 107.1 overs bowled, making it the shortest completed test match. Seamer Mohammad Siraj took a career best of 6 wickets for 15 runs as India bundled out South Africa for 55 in their first innings. After Dean Elgar won the toss and elected to bat on a wicket, offering plenty of assistance to the bowlers. In reply to Africa's first innings, India started on a positive note and also took a considerable lead of 98 runs before they lost 6 wickets one after another at the score of 153 for 4 to bundle out in the space of 11 balls without scoring a run, the first time that has happened in Test. The list of unwanted milestones did not stop there for the visitors as they had 6 batsmen dismissed for ducks, which equaled the previous record. As many as 23 wickets tumbled on a crazy first day. Premier pacer Jasprit Bumrah then produced a match-changing spell of 6 for 61 in the second innings to halt Proteas at 176 and at a lead of 78 runs. South Africa's Aiden Markram was the lone man fighting in the middle as he slammed a century. Rohit Sharma and company then chased down the 79-run target with ease to register India's first ever win at Cape Town, which also marked Dean Elgar's farewell test match, who scored 4 and 12 in his 2 innings. With this win, Rohit Sharma became just the second Indian skipper after MS Dhoni to avoid a test series defeat in South Africa. Prior to this series, India had lost 7 and drawn 1 test series in South Africa since 1992.
An Indian women cricket team will take on Australia women cricket team in the first T20 match of the 3-match series at the D.Y. Patil Stadium in Navi Mumbai today. After a 0-3 hammering by Australia in the T20Is, the Indian women's cricket team would look to draw inspiration from their test match victory against Australia. This will be the first meeting between the two teams in T20 format since the 2023 T20 World Cup semi-final, where the Australian team beat India by 5 runs to reach the final. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi tried snorkeling during his recent visit to Lakshadweep. Sharing pictures from the beach, the Prime Minister wrote, "In addition to the scenic beauty, Lakshadweep's tranquility is also mesmerizing." Alright, and that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.